So are we streaming or not? Let's see. Oh, now it's fine. Okay, it didn't. The connection was bad. Hello, then, folks. Welcome and welcome back to this Pxy-VERSE, and yes, I'm back to some adventurous rigging here and some Python scripting. I won't say programming because I'm too early on this stage of learning this stuff, but certainly scripting, if we could put that into a hierarchy. Scripting, coding, I don't know the difference, but programming, I think that is wider. This is more thoughtful stuff. Not that there's no, but it's like programming would be something, yeah, you think about. You can program in your mind before even the code, the script. Somehow you have the vision of how the software works, and that will like indicate the pathways, the strategies, while we can invent, experiment, discover. But scripting is more like hands-on. It's more in the action, directly coding, right? So anyways, so here I've just found out, doing horrible scripting here, but I was looking for tutorials. Let me get my soundtrack here, folks. Finally, yeah, you can't listen, but this is what I'm listening to. Very relaxing in my opinion, depending on the music, but a very good soundtrack. SimCity 4 or 4000. I didn't play too much, but I really enjoyed the soundtrack. I played SimCity 1, 2, 3. All of them are good. Then 4 is also great, I think. They are all different. Each one has their flavor, special flavor. I can't pick one that I prefer because they are all different, and some have drawbacks in relation to the others that I dislike, but there's no one of them which had all the great features in my opinion. So all of them were enjoyable in their particular way. So anyways, let's return here. So what really gets me in trouble at this level, initiate level of programming, or especially in Python, because is the fact that this whichever thing here that is a variable don't have a color, special color. So some functions, they eventually have color, some functional things here, but I don't know if this is a variable. I don't know if this is a variable. This I know is a variable because I've created it. So I don't know really why they don't. There might be some feature that allows this to become variables to have, or at least the variables that we create, they have a special color, so we can read this better, because this is super confusing for learning, because then took me a while to now each variable that I create, I do, maybe there is a better way, but I'm doing like this: my row 2, my column, because otherwise, so for example, this, some guy, tutorial guy there on scripting Python and Blender made something like that, row. But what is row? Is that an operation? No, this is just applying an input variable, but you know, here it appears as, I believe, not as a variable, but as a part of the command line or the operator, which is default inbuilt And so this is a terrible choice, because this works even if you have set a variable. Otherwise this script wouldn't be working. I'm creating this my panel here for bone collection. Yeah, Rigify. No, this is no Rigify. It took me months to, well, it took me years to just start to decide that I would learn something cool about the scripting, Python scripting in Blender. And now after, yeah, maybe I've been very sluggerishly touching tangencing. I don't know if that word exists in English, like reaching for the tangents of the content, learning a little bits here and there, and then watching, and then, yeah, learning on occasions, very little. And then more recently I thought it would be good. I talked with some Blender artist folks, the forum, and they gave me some ideas, some inspiration to start learning scripting in Blender. One of the guys there, friendly person, told me, oh no, it's not so hard. He was even looking to help other people around to learn. And so that motivated me to get more engaged. I didn't even know how hard it would be, but apparently after I've seen some ideas of making add-ons and checking other tutorials about that, how things are done, very crude stuff, but that the way I was learning, but still effective, because in the end I was able to do this. So I've watched many tutorials. There are some really good tutorials out there, by the way, but it takes time, right? Well, if you already have programming experience, I had very, very little, so couldn't help too much. But so, for example, I'm struggling here with the columns, rows and columns patterns of Python in Blender, so I can't figure out how to organize these panels. I understand something, but now I really need some more theory about this thing, because I knew how to do this, how this worked on just little, not very well, but I knew how to do this in forum scripts and stuff like that, forum-like scripts. So this is essentially the same idea, but it has its own, yeah, it's in Python, it's not like HTML, so it's, or other code, so it's, I don't know about this, but I'm messing up stuff around, and I was able to get some things by copying some things and seeing what works and not, but I can, okay, so let me show you how this is actually, to achieve this, basically we have, it's actually, what I struggled to do is I had a lot of questions, so I didn't know if we could achieve this outside of the regular armature object. So no Rigify add-on here. So this is really a regular armature object. I didn't know if you needed to have a custom property like something. Yeah, so that would, as a Rigify add-on, it has something like a string thing, and then you have, okay, that will be the armature, how to say, the armature code. So it has a string that in Rigify to also generate some string, crazy string like that. And then, but this could be any name actually. And then you could, I didn't know if this was important for fundamental. This is all very basic questions, but fundamental questions. So very few answered this directly, and now I know how to make this implementation. Well, not by heart, but I know the logic behind it. Well, the crude logic I know. So basically, you know, these comments you hashtag here in the text editor, it's Shift F11. So you could also split here and have, you don't need the Python console in my opinion, just for test in this level, but it's good to have the info. So all this I was learning by watching tutorials and reading content, whatever. And so here, whichever thing we do here, it creates something. So this can be important for copy pasting, right? You see, then you get this operator here, or operation. This is equivalent of an option, enable or disabling an option, or even some, yeah, it's something that happens in Blender's UI, and it has a code, and this code is here. So this, and then it's complicated to know sometimes. This is why sometimes we create a variable to be able to pick parts of, or entirely something big like that. They can be even longer. So in this case, I don't know the families of those yet, but I'm getting familiar. Data collections, these are about the bone collections apparently, and this is the name of my, so here I'm confused. I don't know if this is the name of the armature object or of the skeleton, because you know the skeleton is armature object data, and it is here, so you can rename them. It's as many objects in Blender, they might have the same name, but they are different stuff. This is an instance of that. No, there's only one. So this is the skeleton, and this is the armature. They have the same name, but maybe if I change the skeleton name, which is data, object data, let's see if it will mess up my script here. So I need to run script here, and it seems that this is really, so this is nothing to do with the object data. So this is really the object itself. So I can change this. So scale authority, yeah, just like that. So okay, so my script still works. So okay, so import BPY Blender Python module. So these models, I'm just reproducing here some ideas, the tutorials. If anyone is watching, might be, it's interesting for me to explain this because it can be watched on the long term by anyone and has having access to the internet, and also it helps me fixing what I've just learned or I've been learning. So here, if we want Blender Python console, no, just the Python console, there it is. Let's get here, it's Shift F4 actually. Okay, so so it starts out with this BPI stuff. So this is Blender Python, and we need to import this package or something like that. So this will allow us to, in the text editor, to bring up code and directly from here. I think here it's not necessary if we're using the Python, because here we can write code as if we are manipulating here, but this is different. This we are making a full script. This is more advanced, let's say like this. This is more direct, and this is step by step, right? And this one is for a more sophisticated thing. So then we need to run script and something happen, right? But so here there are many things to import. So I had no idea about that, but it's very interesting. So what I want is import BPI. So apparently it's just this one, Blender Python, right? Python is the code. So here import BPI, so I can start writing down everything here. So this is my first thing that I'm doing here is I'm setting a variable that I'm gonna use later for these options here. So like this is the old, let's say, so otherwise I would have to write down all this. Row prop, this is create a property like a button, yeah, BPI data objects armature authority. So this is until here, all this code here is like an action that I can probably Let's disable this with this stuff. BPI skeleton dart collection. Yeah, it will refer to the, okay, you are in the skeleton. Okay, data collections. Probably there's a, no, there's dot tab, then we can do something else. Is there any collection here? So this is a, I have no idea here what to do. So let's just see what is, nothing I'm familiar with. Data. Up and down we can, is there anything else? Dot period tab, let's see. Show names, what's that? False. Okay, so anyway, so if I pick this here, helper is a name that gave myself. I've decided, just as armature arm Dorothy is the name of the armature object. So there are some conventions. If I understood well, the quotes or double quotes, they are the same thing, but to make things differently, we get, there are some convention that a convention that seems to want that double quotes is for my stuff, right? Custom stuff that we create, names, and while the other is single quotes here is for names which are already existing, presets in Blender. Like is visible is the visibility property, apparently. Skeleton here, I don't know, it is like that, but I think, so this is incorrect because I'll just, I hope this will not break the, I think it won't do nothing, but this will be the correct way if I'm correct about this. So skeleton is the name of a bone collection, exactly named like that, skeleton. Helper is another bone collection. So these bone collections, they are instances of let's say a bone collection class. I don't know if it's a class, but should be, right? It doesn't, but you don't need to build it here. It's given, it's given for granted, apparently. That is how I would say that this works, right? Because the tutorials they can't explain everything, right? But I'm interested in programming. I won't really go deep, but this needs a lot of mining and studying, right? So it's a long-term project, but that's interesting, right? The more you know, the more you can invent and make add-ons, or maybe so this is why I believe I'm getting closer to making probably a rig type in Rigify add-on, and that I will be able to automate the generation of this entire rig. So but this is medium term project, maybe it's shorter term, that it will depend. I have a lot of things to do, but hold on folks, let's check the chat here. Okay, all things fine. I need to place it, you don't see it, but it's in front of my screen. It's a pop-up window. All right, so let's continue here. So yeah, so this is why instead of writing all this stuff, which is just an operator, right, plus the instance, which is a bone collection with that name, helper, instead of writing all this, I just write my row. So it's row prop. This was the name of, what is this row prop? Now I'm confused. I think this is old. Because this row, I think, is not like a row like this. It was a variable, because before they were the same. This my row was row, just like that, and I think this is different. So let's see what happens if we do this. Actually, let's see what happens if we do this. This shouldn't work. Apparently it worked. Let's disable it. Okay, so this actually doesn't work. So this variable doesn't exist. So what about just prop? Nothing happens. It needs so my column. So apparently this needs to be followed by a row thing, because it's about the layout. You need to draw the layout. So you define, draw, and self. I can't explain this, but it relates to the instances. And there's like a class of stuff has like the meshes. The mesh stuff in Blender, like the mesh stuff is a class and it's a category, and there's the presets to generate any mesh object. So the type, the class category of the meshes, they generate mesh objects, and each mesh object is generated by this mesh class, mesh stuff class, is an instance. So until now I've heard instance all the time, could never figure out what that was. I didn't study a lot about it, but yeah, information, like creepy information. People don't like to explain stuff, right? So very few do, right? Explain correctly or in a more meaningful way. Right, people have different needs. All right, so this is a basic concept, right? So instance. So finally, I think I'm getting to the point. So let's see what happens now. My column. Oh, I've created some. Okay, just figure. I've created my. So this is why I need to learn this. But okay, so let's have this. You see how this works, like forum stuff. Like you recall an operation that will use my row. For example, this one will use this variable here, which creates, I don't have to rewrite this. So this sets something like yeah, I'm not explain that. What interests me right now is this. This will get the skeleton here, which is a bone collection. Is visible is the, I think this is visible is this thing, right? So we can do this here. Yeah, it's this property here. It is there. Python bone collection period is underscore visible. So it's and then there's an operator, bpy data armatures is visible. Oh yeah, that's interesting. Can I copy the, I think that should be good for coding. Copy that data path. What is that? No, this doesn't seem like what you want. Copy full data path. No. How I catch this data? I don't know. Apparently that is not the. Let's just check here what that does. No, that's it. That's what we want. Yeah, exactly. So copy data path. So if I use this in the Python console, I will equal false. No, not working. I think I'm missing something here. How to negate this? Okay, there's some error. I wasn't visualizing this. So trace back, blah, 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 file Blender console time line 1 in module name collections all is not defined. Okay, so this is need to either this was a variable thing. No, it's Okay, we need probably all that, right? Let's copy until here, paste here, and is that correct? Is visible. What happened? No, it's still not. Okay, never mind. Forget about that. So I couldn't use this yet, but we can get those data from here, those paths. So then is visible, comma, comma, toggle. This is the toggle function, true or false. I don't know if the false one. Toggle false means that it's untoggable. Maybe let's check. What is this? Interesting. That creates a checkbox or a button. So this toggle was not exactly what I thought. So interesting finding. So we can do a checkbox here just by doing that, and it starts check. So this false has nothing to do with the toggle being on and off. It's just the and then comma, and then the spacing is not necessary, but it's good for readability. Some guys do this. I don't like this in the middle. Maybe I'll change up my mind, but it's very hard to maintain, so stick some logic here, because if we're to be completely rational about this, then okay, why do you have this spacing, right? So anyways, lots of choice. So in a great deal there are the conventions, but it is personal, right? So, and then you can even shift here, right? This also will work if you want. So maybe this is better. I don't know. Here you probably can do that. Oh, we can do that. Can we do that too? Yeah. Wow, this is insane. No, this is creepy, but yeah, those things, right? What works, what does not. So it's like there's all these presets on the coding. You need to know those things as soon as possible. All right, so yeah, it's good that we economize space doing this, right? So there's an advantage, but then it's really up to everyone to I don't know what I prefer right now. So anyways, it's gonna continue here. So then, and finally, we text is the text that we're gonna implement there, and it will be like, if there's no text, we just do this, and so you see there's a button here. It's the same operator here, so that's why it does that, but we want skeleton, right? And then okay, and there is no comma or anything here in the end, in this case at least. So why do you have two columns? Oh, okay, here. I see. Okay, so we see that these columns, my columns, they are stacking with this helper and skeleton here, right? If I just change the position of this, nothing happens. My row, I don't know what to do with that. It's like I just wanted to add a new. Yeah, so this I need to research a little. Should be pretty simple. And for the last one is layout dot box, then label. That, yeah, then you have this button X. This icon thing, there's an add-on for developers. Oops, can't do the sidebar here. You need, then you go on here, the sidebar, you get the dev, and there's the icons, and you can pick an icon like that. And what is this button X? Yeah, there's nothing here, so it's just like, then you get here, copy the, so you get the text, and you can get the icon equals, like instead of error, control V, hand. hand, this hand really, then yeah, then we can do this, play, and there we can just change the but it's not a button, it's just a so this is it's very funny to do those things, but I need to learn the basic here. Yeah. So then there's just this registering features which are it's just basic stuff that we need to do by default. So there's a register. I'm stacking, but usually they do like that, right? So define register for each class here, the my collection class, the class for creating this tab on the sidebar region of the 3D viewport editor, in spite of whichever object is selected apparently. So yeah, in this case, yes, it's independent. I have my panel. So this is very interesting. It will be enabled anytime, even if I don't have the armature object selected. So look how great that is, right? This is much better than, yeah, I've been using Bone Manager for ages, and I without this, because I don't use Rigify. Bone Manager extension doesn't handle those things easily, so you need to, I don't know how to do that. There's no tutorials about that, and Rigify is like you have to get through all this. And now I'm pretty sure this is without Rigify, because this is not a generated rig. This is my own rig, but it's an old rig. Let's just make sure this is correct. Rigify, yeah, there's nothing here, right? So it's not a generated rig, right? It's my own rig. And what are those things? No, this is custom properties of so yeah, I can't, because it's an old thing. I don't know, maybe I messed up, I did some stuff here, but I don't know what those things, but in principle nothing here. This is I did by myself, but I need to clean this from I think the best way would be just to let's make a test. So I'm gonna control C all this. I've just gone to do as they done. Let's make a new yeah, save, then delete all. Let's add the armature single bone here. Okay, no Rigify stuff here. Let's get here some Shift F11 and new, Control V, and we're gonna check here instead just armature Dorothy, and oh, there's no bone collections here. Yeah, we need to get the skeleton, then the helper, and there was also a face. I think that's it. So we don't need the bones here, but just to make things cool enough, let's add some bone here. Alt M this to skeleton, and this one Alt M to, this is my shortcut, no, hands on to face. Alright, so if I run the script, skeleton, wow. So that's how easy that is. No, it's not easy, but basically, yeah, I just conclude this doesn't depend on Rigify add-on. So it took me years to figure not the question out, but the how to do this fucking thing, right? So so basically now it's just a question, and you can make switches here, slider buttons. Then it's just a question of of learning those how to get the options and some operations and stuff like that into, yeah, you have the answers. Is by checking the data path of everything, and what happens in the, you know, the info when we are running stuff. We can also use the Python console to see if that action does that indeed, that we can type it directly. Anyways, then we have how to say the what do you got here? Yeah, continuing to lost my line of thought, but essentially, yeah. So let's get from here, because this is yeah, and it's working, totally working. So import BPI already, right? You can read here, right, if you want. So my bone layers BPI data. So this is like the accessing the bone collections, and here if we were to access a specific one, that will be like this, but it's not the case. I want a generic thing, so I'm not even leaving something like that. I tried, it doesn't work. No, we want leave it like that, so we can add here this this stuff in here. So my bone layers, what is my bone layers? My bone layers, yeah, this is the variable that we have at the start, just after import BPI, BPY, and then here, then we just set the bone collection, and you see the armature object's name must be correct. If it's not, it can't find Dorothy. Yeah, not found. They're very straightforward, but we need to know every single detail sometimes, otherwise we end up having terrible part. Then here's the not a definition of a class, I don't know how to say it, but it's the identification or the creation of a class that will allow us to have this tab of skeletons. So we're gonna go into details here, but after, even if we okay, let's do something here. So this is if we want to have it as an add-on, I believe. So it will allow to enable or disable. So the explanation I've seen about that, they are interesting, but not very useful. I don't know yet if this is fundamental for the script to work or not. Apparently it is not, but it maybe if we don't. Yeah, so I need to register and unregister. So apparently I've understood this is for add-ons, but it's crossed information, it's confusing thing. I have still no idea why this is called like that. Yeah, this is very creepy, and I don't know why there's a. Oh, okay. If so this is a conditional. If all this is, if there is something like that, then do register. Okay. Okay, so this is just a definition, and I think this is not an action. This is, yeah, it's confusing. So I think this is actually the operator. This is just the definition of how it would work, and I think this would work for register and unregister. Here I think we're just defining what it is to be registered and unregistered. Yeah, must be that. And here I have no idea, folks. It's just a conditional. This is a variable, but it looks like an inbuilt stuff. Or maybe we're creating this and this main as well. Okay, never mind. So registering features are at the end. So this is for the add-on apparently. And then here this is draw. It's not a method. There is a, or maybe it's also called a method. So we're defining the drawing stuff, and here we could stack all that, but then for me it's too confusing. So this will help. So layout, self layout. Okay, so I need to understand that later. Then here we are defining more or less those. This is for. This I'm setting a variable. Apparently this is a variable too. Self layout. Yeah, so this is what confused me. I have no idea why this Because if I change here, probably this will go broken. It breaks the layout of my panel, so the skeleton tab still exists in my panel. But if I just place it here, then it is still broken, right? Maybe this is self layout. No. Then let's do all that. Nothing. So maybe this layout is not a... Yeah, so you see how stupid this is, right? I mean, it's dangerous, right? It's stupid, like the like it will create confusion. So I would prefer to do my layout now that I know this. So of course, someone that is experienced in scripting and programming might not even care about this. Yeah, that will occur every time. So, but you see how much confusion this can be. So, while as it comes here, it is something in preset, but here is, oops, it's my layout. This is my variable. You see that it comes before the dots, and in this case, just as this row, this is not a variable like that. So of course there are many ways to do. Maybe there's a reason not to do the way I want to. It's me that is not aware of the importance of. But I don't understand the why it needs to be confusing. So deconfusing, right? Of course, the way I'm speaking might be rude because I've been learning from the same guys which are making these not mistakes but this approach. So they made marvelous work. Otherwise, I would not be here. But just stating that this is better, right? If that works, it's better because it's clearer to the noobs like me. So there's I watched a how to say, I've watched a conference, not a conference, a presentation about a professor programmer, very interesting presentation, profound and philosophical, but at the same time technical, not going to the details of the practice stuff, just a little, but getting to the fundamentals, the introduction, right? And he mentioned something very curious that caught my attention. It's a genius idea to explain what programming is about. You need to the computer is retarded. Yeah, not a good term, but it's like a very super stupid thing. It's not smart, it's completely stupid. So you need to try to, when you code in a script, you program, you need to go to the very fundamentals to try to explain to that very stupid subject, individual machine, right, that what you want it to do, because it doesn't understand. Yeah, it won't understand. It works through logic, that logic, right, that we created or that we discovered or that we developed as human beings, the language system, that symbolic stuff, and then all this, as we created the machines, now the software, the hardware, then now we need to be very humble. It's very humbling to try to do this, because you need to explain every single detail, otherwise the machine won't understand what you want it to do. So this is like, understanding is stupid. It's not really understanding. It's like reading, right? Reading in some processing, right? It cannot process correctly if you don't explain everything. So it's worse than teaching at children. So at least it wants to understand maybe what certain humans, adult humans, don't want to, right? So so at least the machine has this advantage, besides the logic maybe, which is preset, right? Okay. Let's continue here, folks. What I need to do. My layout. So yeah, we need to do the very. So I found that was encouraging because okay, I think no more layout here. My layout, it's all set. There's one reason why to give those things easier names to write, but yeah, just a color would be better in my opinion. Let's run now and see. Yeah, so I've recovered this. So see, as it was just layout, this is not preset. This will erase. So this is also a variable. Great. So here, now why I'm gonna save this? Yeah, no, not gonna. So draw self context. So it's like it's adapting its instances, right? Basically something like that. And context, I'm not sure. So variable that will draw, that will make a self layout. So I don't know why I have self here, but yeah, this thing the machine needs to understand, to read this way. So otherwise you don't know some fundamental thing. That my new row, it's my new variable I'm making right here. I'm creating it after this, so it's hierarchical, it's tab here, right? So it's different from this one, so I'm not sure it needs to be here, but I've made some tests. Apparently it needs to be yeah, it fails. It fails. It fails. And let's say if we place it like here, it fails. So this is not very, I don't understand this, but apparently it needs to be created in an order, right? It needs to have this hierarchy. Yeah, because we are defining the stuff, the draw thing, we are defining, it's part of a class, right? So we're defining the thing, and we need to define it. I cannot create the variable before it's being defined. It is as it is being defined, right? So I cannot place it here, I need to place it after. So it might be the idea here. So my new row. Oh, there might be another way to do this with this underscore, right? I think this is also used. There's a convention for that. But okay, so here, oh yeah, I wanted to try something cool here. So class, this is my collection, so this is my own name. So this is the name of the class, and we need to copy paste this, use the same for the register stuff, right? Here and here, register and register. Then BPY types panel, this is a category of class of a panel. So we're making this panel here, and it is located, I don't like this stuff here. Let's change the order and see if this still works, because this is bullshit, right? Why it is organized in some crazy way. This is readable. Actually, yeah. Well, actually the label, yeah, so I'm going big to small, right? Let's play this and see the broken. Yeah, so no, so it works. So this, okay, so this is the right big. This is the preset name for the 3D viewport. It must be exactly like that, but it also works if it is double quotations. If it is, this is just a convention here. So I need, if we, yeah, no, not this, but instead we can select the text and just do the quotation. I have an option that automatically creates one double thing. I think this is the, they show some, many ones will show this. I think this is input, no, it is interface, no, I would know, editing maybe, text editor, auto close character pairs, yeah, this one, very useful. It should be here, right? Maybe it's here somewhere. There are some options here. Highlight line, yeah, I wish that was preset. Okay, then this defines the my collections, my own, right? This is my own name. And so you see there's a class and there's a space, and this will create this, create, I don't know, identify, create, allocate these collections, and it's a panel thing, and then we decide where this panel will be in the UI, and then we need to draw this stuff. Then the drawing is about what will happen, right? And this is where I'm still struggling with. And then, okay, so this is what, so if you get all this correct, folks, you make this, right? The only thing that I didn't explain properly, I think, is this part, right? Then yeah, so here I it's above my pay grade. I can't explain how to do this now, but I'd like to learn, maybe write, can we get something here like Blender Python panel row column yeah, UI layout rows and columns Python. Yeah, let's see this. 3 months ago, 2 years ago, hello, I was wondering how to make the verse wider. Okay, just you say how to learn this thing. There's a lot of good questions here. Maybe what is this? Oh, there's defining. You see, the variables seem to have a name here, a color. Yeah, I've seen that. I've checked already. I can't, but it's the same color of the. There's another color here. Maybe it's another software. It's not Blender. Let's see if we can learn anything from here. This is a variable. Row dot. So variable dot column. Oh, there's, okay, dot row dot column. Okay. Ah, I was probably missing that. So layout the draw line true. Okay, the line is already checked. Can be true or false. There are probably other options. You can place stack here. Slider true. Oh, there's interesting. So I can get a slider just like that. Let's try. The skeleton. No, but this is different. Prop. Context scene. What is this? I won't. I won't take the risk here. to do this will lead nowhere, I think. So here ID names input. Why is this layout demo? Yeah, I've seen this Blender ID name before, but now I have no idea what this is about. All this is, see, it's more or less equivalent. ID name, is that required? Scene PT layout, it doesn't appear anywhere else. What is BL ID name? Yeah, I'm not gonna do this forever here, folks. I'm just checking the base file. If I wanna use the file like and this is what I don't get where you create them, at least for the panels, operators, menus that you are building. The BL Blender, I think it's Blender ID name, is a unique identifier that Blender uses to execute your operator or instantiate your menu. There are some requirements for the name. Panels must contain PT underscore, menus must contain operators use the simplified calling version of the ID name for considered OT identifier as user. You can create an object called my stuff OT. The BL name should be my stuff super. Yeah, sort of confusing, but sort of give some insight. But okay, not gonna dive into this. So is there some tutorial on multiple columns in one panel? Get UI row value for that can be good. Layout, Blender, Python API. Yeah, this might be good. Structure. Yeah, I should be reading really through this property scale. The problem is this is like just basal stuff. It is hard to get this useful when you are beginning, I think, because nothing makes sense without examples, without some demonstration. It's just but probably this is not a good place to look at. What's this thread here? Import bit PI and class. Is it no BL ID name? Well, there's something here. Yeah, maybe I'll have to create this later, but don't know. So layout. So that is good. Is there a shortcut for the screenshot for the no? So probably there might be some mistakes here. We have to create an integral operator and have to value quicker on the web. This is my define draw self context. Okay, I remember this is exactly the same thing. Placeholder, but now this is defining. This is a variable context scene placeholder. Oh, I see why now, but still confusing. It's like they pick this and they place here, like just to recall all this path. Yeah. But why do you have to define this? Why can't you just write this down? So this is like it's like trying to make a preset. These patterns is all the time, and I don't like it because they are still different things, in my opinion. So I would do like some code here that would be available. I don't know what would be available. So maybe a letter or something, anything in the beginning that makes sure that this is my. So maybe it's good to use this, but like the names here, but with something, right? So so here say column, and then we got. Okay, but let's get the. Okay, so what is the placeholder? Context in placeholder. This is interesting. Let's pick this. Actually, I don't know what those things, but maybe we can reuse them. Let's try Control V here. This probably won't work, but we have some new stuff here. Let's see. Nothing happens. So let's make this, place this here. I'll finish. So apparently probably don't have those things, so it's broken. It's, yeah, breaking. This probably won't work also. Probably needs something. And this might be interfering with the. I'd like to just. Okay, let's try something else here. Instead of getting these ones, I just want to. Yeah, it's the same thing. Prop here. This is like, and here, column layout column. Okay, so this is something we can use. Oh, this is my layout, right? So my idea, we could use something like, we can't use that, we can't use that, we can't use that, so maybe we can use this. This we can't, we can't, we can't. This is strange, we can't use this, not this. Yeah, so a lot of things we can't use, so interrogation. Yeah, so there's, we can use this. So this is interesting. I've read somewhere it's not recommended to do this, but I don't care, and I will row equals yeah, maybe it just makes everything more confusing then. So now I think I start to understand why this can be actually a good idea, but I'll still get used to my own stuff. So this will be, here will be creating a different one, right? Let's copy paste this. So this is like, I'm trying to make, yeah, so like we could set this later, like this is row base, and this is like row 2, right? So we can do this, and this is this is the same as the first one. This is repeated. We could also have column 1, so that will be like, this is like a nest. I just remember some row nested in a box thing, which is, yeah, this is getting super hard to read, I agree. Here I'm not sure which ones, because I've changed everything, so let's just make sure that we get okay, if everything was correct. Line 28, self layout. Maybe it starts, no, let's read syntax error. So maybe this is the case. Alright, so it doesn't accept the code, unfortunately. What about this? Ah, yeah, so it doesn't accept those codes, so that's dead end, folks. What about 1 or 0? 0 sounds cool, right? 0 layout, self layout, well, my layout. Yeah, so it doesn't accept those values. It has a different color, yeah, I think. Alright, folks, so this was interesting, lots of crazy stuff here, but if we return here, yeah, here I had, so what I'm gonna do is that at least I'm going to reorganize this, because I don't know why is the other classification. I'll find out with mistakes if they occur. So category is the tab, UI is the view, the sidebar region, and my panel is the panel. And so here we go. So I'm gonna stick with this, but it's true that maybe I could place an M and just do yeah, so here they called collections all. Collections all, so maybe this works. Can this work? I don't think this will work, but this could be an interesting one. No, this will be confusing, because what comes after? Yeah, I'm not gonna even try this, will mess up too much stuff. So my bone layers is for the collection stuff. Wait, the class as a name. This is okay. My bone lasers here. This is the name of the class, so don't mix them up. I think that will create horrid things if we did that. So I'm not gonna try that. Attempt that here in this time, maybe in the future. So I couldn't find anything here to reorganize this, unfortunately. So what I'm going to do actually is to just return to the some organizations here of the rigging, right? We are getting, looks like I've lost something here. Okay, we are back. So this is a work in progress, but from zero impossibility to get something like that, a great pattern. Now we can. Would there be a way to bring this tab somewhere else? I don't know. But also, we can also save this, like export this as a real file. Save as. Yeah, let's save it here. So just with this, yeah, they recommend we make sure there's the extension, the py, which is Python file extension format. All right, so I did all very good stuff too. I should now try to attempt to combine the armature stuff, right? So Alt G, let's join this into this. So this has its own bone collections. If we select the other, they're stacking, right? Let's see if the names, no, the names are pretty different. So we just need to do this, Control J, right? And something seems to have, wait, is it possible? Oh yes, I remember, folks. There was one thing here that remained to be solved. We're gonna get through this. It's a good challenge to do this here. We're going to apply scale to, no, not this rig. We're gonna apply scale to this rig, which has a humongous scale transform. It was scaled down. We need to apply the scale. And I'm gonna save, I'm gonna make a new file here. I don't need this right now, so we're gonna be working. We don't need those things. Hold on, folks. All right. So there are not too many bones here, so we can use the. Here, there's this operation: unsolo all, show all. Yes, show all, and that is, we are ready to do this madness. So apply all transforms. We're gonna do this layer by layer. So start with this one. It's very simple. Well, it's not very simple. It depends on the rig, right? This bone seems to be not have. If they have suffered something, it's a big thing. So in principle, here we see that this has lost some. So this happens to certain bone constraints. We can't get it. We can't get it right for some reason. Usually we need to reset. Okay, just reset. Don't know what was happening. This is okay. This, how come this didn't break? Okay, because it doesn't have a target, but it's wrong anyway, so I'm gonna, I think I deleted the target, so anyways we're gonna delete that. Gonna invert, and also gonna, not gonna delete the stretch too, but we're going to later I decide this. So this is why they they didn't break. Alright, see what else. This one has a stretch too. Gonna reset. This has a target, but probably a wrong target. Gonna redefine this later. Copy, control need. This is old stuff. We're gonna delete this. Any bond constraint here? No. Copy transforms, maybe. This I'm leaving this for investigation, but they didn't broke this one, so seems fine. This one seems to have broken in their, just maybe it's just something about their bendy bone properties. No, not bendy bone, the custom shapes. They were cubes. Alright, strange decision. Okay, so you see widgets can break too. It's always proportional, everything that I've checked. So okay, these are bones. Yes, these are bones. Copy transforms. What is this? Deform hand. Oh, this bone I think was, no, this is actually a, yeah, this is a widget, and we are not using this, so we're gonna reset all that. There's another thing here. What is this one? This is a head bone, master's property switch. What is it doing there? Okay, this probably has some custom properties. Yeah, this is why I've left it there. So yeah, we don't want the widget for this one, so it'll just left there. Then there is another bond which is disappearing here. This is probably just not a bond constraint thing. Is again this, basically we need to divide this by 10. The scale divide by 10, is that correct? Yeah, so here is scale to the size, reset this. We might keep this widget, maybe it's not bad, not too bad, so, but its positioning is terrible. This value can be arbitrary, but yeah. I would like to place it at the detail, right, with some precision. Yeah, this is a problem. But yeah, we can just do this. That it's not too bad. Scale to bone length is very good for widgets. Then we have some stuff that which have broken this probably because of the shrink wrap feature, which also this I believe, no, it's not here. It's some bones. Yeah, there are some. It's not about this because it's not this. The mesh weren't. It's not the mesh that suffered. The mesh is already applied scales. So yeah, I'm already on 0.4 iteration of the file. So there are more bones here. So this is a much simpler case because yeah. So these all got broken. So no, they didn't. How is it possible? Oh yeah, of course. We need to be on. So I get this. The targets are all broken. So yeah, okay. Let's reset here. Reset here. Reset here. Reset here. Then we're gonna just resymmetrize. Some data here also needs. Well, this is the only one which have some bendy bones special setting, I believe. Oh, these ones also have stretch too. Now I need to select only one side. There we go. Then symmetrize. And looks like this is the only thing here. Anything else that I can find? Oh yeah, this thing. So this is probably some settings here. We need to be on edit mode, and we need to divide this. Now multiply by 10. Or would it be dividing twice by 10? Yeah, so we need to reduce this value. Yeah, so it was because I applied a negative. Hard to. I can't explain now. I can't visualize what this. I applied a scale that was 0.1, so it was a. Oh yes, the character was gigantic, so to reach this position, the armature was gigantic, so I had to scale it down. But as I applied, like, that's why it's confusing, right? Face. Okay, so this one it's slightly challenging. There are a lot of bones here. Oh, these are just the widgets, right? Yeah, so if I maybe I should reset all this, reset all to Yeah, but can I copy auto selected? Oh yeah, copy auto selected, copy auto selected. This is good stuff. And then we're gonna use this one, should help. And what, but some are just high contour, it is control. Yeah, I have some eyebrow things. Just two, okay. I believe these are about to just be those widgets. Oh, those widgets are old, right? So the name of the bones are incorrect. Yeah, unsure, but what's happened to these ones? They have some, yeah, this limit location was affected. So you see, oh yeah, this was calculated according to the eye, but this will be a different system. So no, but it's not this what is causing it to. Okay, their widgets are messed up, so I'm gonna do this, then this we're gonna use a full inversion, I think here, yes. This we could just get them like that. Anything else here? No, okay, this seems right. Then we have orbicularis oculi, and okay, because we've remade the don't understand. Targets might be wrong. No. Yeah, the targets might be wrong. Reset. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 at looping. Alright, so seems all correct, but I need to resymmetrize all this. Good. Next, eyelids. This got very broken. Okay. All right, symmetrize, good. Oh yeah, not totally, but just eyelashes which are using, oh yeah, so this setup is like no, maybe it's not here. There's map from, yeah. Doesn't seem that this would fix, well, sort of, compared to the opposite side, yeah. So, but I'm fixing the right, so let's, yeah, I need to be, I'm gonna remake those things, but doesn't feel right, all these very minimal values. Positioning doesn't seem quite correct, yeah. So I probably have a better solution for that. Yeah, this will take too much time, so I'm just gonna Control Alt C everyone, and they are rotating because of their parent, I think. And why their parent are moving, rotating so much? Something about the setup. Yeah, have to revise it. This is not what I'm fixing right here. So just the big deformation. Okay, arcades got some stretch to bone constraint. Only that got broken. No big deal. Edit mode, symmetrize, there we go. Tongue, also some bendy bones. I still have the old setup here. I thought I've deleted that, but I'm gonna revise, right? So it's a mechanism rig, then yeah, I just kept the, because of the deform rig, the control rig. I already used some, but I'm gonna dismantle this. I have a better solution thanks to auto IK option. We don't even need an IK bond constraint for that, unless we wanted some special. Okay, and here is cool, and clots. So still there's something deforming the, there's no bendy bones here, so this didn't got any problem. Okay, so that probably is a deformed thing. Armature, okay, it's not a, oh, it's a shrink wrapping thing. It's not a, this is the mirror modifier, yeah, okay. There's no armature modifier, so this is definitely a shrink wrap thing. They are shrink wrapping to probably a wrong target, I guess. Oh yeah, here we go, the wrong target. So I think because I've applied the scale, yeah, these objects, they were parented, right? So they were clear parent and not keep transforms. not working. There we go. So it was because of the, yeah. Now I have to repair that, but this will be for future setup. So that's it, folks. That was fixed. That I don't know why I have this thing, this eye closed here. Makes no sense to me in this file, but in principle we solved this thing. We're gonna add now the merge the armature, so getting this was a duplicate for backup investigation. This is what I want to join. Alt G. Let's see now the transforms, double checking. All based. Now this is good. Now this one also has the correct scale, the default scale, and join the new and the old, because then if any time I need to refresh, I'll just create a new armature and join do the opposite, join the older armature into, just if there are some old data, right? Sometimes this doesn't solve everything, but here, okay, so now this one, I have a lot of bone collections, but what we're gonna do, we're gonna rearrange this stuff. We need to be on pose mode usually to not lose the bone colors if we do this. Yeah, so here is where I'm gonna start this solving this stuff, right? There are certainly tons of things to do. Yeah, I'll leave this with that color to make sure they are, except for this one, but this one it's safe to use. I'm gonna make a new one. This will be my scale issues. This is just for, also I want physics. There's nothing here, but all the bones, they'll have clones here. They'll have duplicated, yeah, cloned instance will be here. Know how to mention it. Gonna rename some, yeah, hair, clothes, maybe includes also the weapons. Yeah, so this could be like assets. Or sometimes, yeah, it's better to as a costume and assets. Maybe we would like not too much, but it's after, because now I have the layout, I can sort of fix that This was, we'll lose the name for this. So I need to update those data, right? Those names, but that is okay. I wish I could control the... Yeah, so I think this can be done with the 3D cursor. Let's make a test here. Yeah, so this is how we... It's not a completely F-key skeleton, but it can do both if we just pick the other bone and use the 3D cursor. So it's like a... It's not a control key skeleton, only it's more than that. So it's a control skeleton. It's richer than that. So this is the master control skeleton, tweak, limbs, yeah, whatever. Hand is a limb, yeah, okay. So here this map is like is switches, extras, yeah. This can be confusing because there are many things that could... Yeah, I'll go into that later. This is not gonna be useful, but it's good to know what will broke. One day they will fix that and make this automated, I hope, in Blender. So folks, I think for this was an okay progress, and we have this thing. Can probably bring this to the top now. Still works. The helper, I think, disappeared. There's some change here, I guess, but so my plan here is to continue learning here and get a cool panel here, and then include the switches and some extra custom properties, some slider buttons, and then I think I can make a full tutorial. No, not a tutorial, a demonstration of this from scratch. That will be cool, right? So there are already a lot of content, but so far I've checked, not a lot. There are some content, good content, but not good enough because I've struggled a lot to just be able to get this thing. So thanks to the folks which contribute in the learning process, right? So certainly all the tutorials were interesting, were helpful. So I'm not blaming anyone, but I think something is still missing for a custom rig, right? I don't expect to be able to make a, yeah, I'm not even gonna make a tutorial. Tutorial is hard, right? Making tutorials. So I will do highlights in my own way, and then we're gonna get this thing, valuable information out there for anyone willing to get this for a custom rig. Yeah, that's it, folks. Thanks for watching. Take care and happy blending. Have a nice weekend, and we'll be back. I think tomorrow I'll be back, and so I'm gonna probably bring back this character. I'm gonna start to connect the two skeletons, the two everything, and then we're gonna bring them. Also, we need to bring the helper rig from this one. Maybe some few other features, maybe, but most features for the control rig were already in this one which I've joined. So I probably need I will probably just need the widgets will be the last thing that I'm gonna implement. It will be good if I have the deform done. Yeah, the deforms. So yeah, there are some steps. I want to transfer mesh data waves. I'll need to use probably Tsukagi. I think she has waves. Yes, she has waves. She too has waves, but she has a very different proportion, so not good. Yeah. And for the face, probably we'll see. But I need to have all the deformed bones in the correct place first to start with. So thanks for watching, folks, again, and see ya tomorrow probably, or any other. They're gonna do more streams during the week, and that's it, folks. See ya.